When you're ready to start your business, Northwest Registered Agent gives you access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms. Everything you need to launch and protect your business in one place. Northwest Registered Agent has been helping small business owners and entrepreneurs launch and grow businesses for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S., with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your local laws and can help you in your business every step of the way. Plus, with Northwest, privacy is automatic. They never sell your data and handle all services in-house because privacy by default is their pledge to customers. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit northwestregisteredagent.com/OFD-free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at northwestregisteredagent.com/OFD-free. This is Optimal Finance Daily. What debt to pay off first? A simple way to decide what's best. By Jackie Beck of JackieBeck.com. Wondering what debt to pay off first? Once you're ready to go beyond just paying minimum payments on each one, typical reactions are to either try to pay just a little bit more than the minimum to all of your creditors, or try to decide which way will save you the most money. In other words, we try to figure out what debt to pay off first based on logic. Unfortunately, that can be complicated unless you owe the IRS. In that case, they should probably top your list. Worse, trying to figure out what debt to pay off first based on logic isn't necessarily effective because borrowing money is rarely logical. Considerations. So instead, think about two things in making your decision about what debt to pay off first. Which debt would be easiest to pay off first? And which debt would you feel happiest about seeing gone? Easiest is going to be the one with the lowest balance, simply because there's less of it. Most people who are struggling with debt will do better by paying the lowest balance debt first. Don't underestimate the importance of continuing to pay off debt. Put your debts in order from smallest to largest and get rid of the first one as fast as you can. When you're done, put that money towards the next debt on your list. This is the traditional approach to paying off debt. It's very effective because people are motivated by feelings. They feel great when they get rid of that first debt, and so they keep going. Logic really doesn't play into it. Why logic matters least when it comes to which debt to pay off first. Think about how you got into debt in the first place. Chances are it's because you wanted things and didn't want to wait until you had the money to pay for it. For example, none of these behaviors are logical. Your pet gets sick and requires expensive medical treatment. You pay for it with debt because of course you love your pet. You decide that you need a new car right now, even though your old one could be fixed for a few $100s. So you trade it in on the new one and end up with years of car payments. You go out to eat with your friends, but use a credit card since you don't get paid for another 2 weeks. And you hate having company over because they'll see your mismatched furniture or empty rooms in your house. You know, the house you bought before you were financially ready because everyone was buying a house at your age. So you take advantage of a 90-day same as cash offer to fill it with furniture. Note that I'm not saying there's anything wrong with helping your pet, getting a new car, eating out, buying a house or furniture, or any number of things you could do with your money, if you can afford to do so. Also, chances are, like me and every other human, you rationalize a lot of things. It's easy to confuse wants with needs. Rationalizing versus reality. For example, most of those probably felt like needs, but realistically, they were not. Rationalizing something as a need doesn't mean it's actually true. It just means you've made your brain align with what you wanted emotionally. If you had been logical, you wouldn't have gotten a pet you couldn't truly afford to care for in the first place. Maybe you'd pet sit or help out at a shelter instead. You would have fixed the car, stayed home from dinner because you didn't have the money, shut the door to the empty room or not cared what your friends thought, and rented until you were really ready to buy. Instead, you borrowed money and agreed to pay extra for the privilege. Logic wasn't a factor in getting into debt, and it's not going to be the biggest factor in getting out. But what about Is there a particular debt that's really weighing on you emotionally? That's where the question about which debt would you feel happiest about seeing gone comes into play. Maybe you owe your parents $1,000, and every time you see them, you feel like, in fact, you go out of your way not to see them anymore, and it's ruining your relationship. If you're sick at heart over a particular debt, consider putting that at the top of the list when it comes to what debt to pay off first. Just be sure your feelings are strong enough to carry you through to completion. Remember, a huge part of how to get out of debt is changing your behavior for good. And your behavior starts with your emotions, not logic. We're not Spock. If you're still not convinced about what debt to pay off first, let's talk numbers. Worried about it taking longer if you start with the lowest balance instead of the highest interest rate? Do the math for your exact situation. For example, here's one situation. I'm not sure which debt to pay off first. I have several debts with various interest rates and minimum payments. I'm making all of the minimum payments right now and have about $150 a month extra that I could put towards debt. I also have $4,000 in savings that I could use to pay something off right now. What would you pay off first? And what order would you pay them off in? Here's how long it would take to pay them off. If you pay them down from highest interest rate to lowest, it'll take you 4 years and 7 months to be debt-free, assuming you never found ways to send an extra beyond the snowball that whole time, which is unlikely. If you pay them down from lowest balance to highest balance instead, it'll take you 4 years and 8 months. A month's worth of interest on what will be by then a very low balance is not worth agonizing over. Just pick one that feels right to you and start chipping away at it. Then stick with it until they're all gone. Sticking with it is what matters most, along with getting started. You just listened to the post titled, What Debt to Pay Off First? A Simple Way to Decide What's Best by Jackie Beck of JackieBeck.com. One of my biggest goals for 2026 is finally building a dedicated travel fund without the guilt. I'm tired of stressing about money when I book a trip. So this year, I'm getting organized. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your laptop or phone. I've been using Monarch for years and love using it for my New Year's financial reset. It helps me review spending and set fresh budgets. Plus, their AI assistant gives me personalized answers instantly. This new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use code OPTIMAL at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code OPTIMAL. Imagine you're a business owner who has to rely on a dozen different software programs to run your company. Each one is expensive, overly complicated, and worst of all, none of them are connected. Now imagine a platform that could tackle all of your business management needs in one place. That platform you're imagining? It's Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on a single, simple, easy-to-use software, giving you peace of mind that your business is always being taken care of from every angle. Odoo assists in accounting, marketing, inventory, HR, CRM, manufacturing, and everything in between through its user-friendly interface and open source applications. Basically, if your business needs it, Odoo's got it. Odoo sounds pretty amazing, right? So stop wasting your time and money on those expensive, disconnected platforms and let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. It doesn't get much better than that. So what are you waiting for? Discover how Odoo can take your business to the next level by visiting odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. Odoo, modern management made simple. As a perfectionist at heart, I wanted to pay off my 30 grand of debt in my late 20s in the most optimal way. So I went with tackling the highest interest rate first, otherwise known as the debt avalanche method. I think I solved for the emotional benefit you get with the snowball method, which is tackling the debt with the lowest balance first, because I used a debt reduction calculator. It helped me visualize the finish line, which kept me motivated. But I completely agree with the advantages of the debt snowball, and I love how Jackie pointed out that the amount of time you may be saving with the avalanche method isn't worth agonizing over. Personal finance is less about the math and more about behavior, habits, and mindset. The order of paying off my debts wasn't what changed my life. Rather, it was the mindset shift to dramatically lower my spending and aggressively pay down debt so that I can invest. That has put me on the path to financial independence. If I was still swiping my credit card with abandon, it wouldn't matter how cleverly I sorted my debts or how expertly I chose a high-yield savings account. That being said, if you're an overanalyzer, remember to give the spreadsheet a break sometimes and focus on the personal part of personal finance. Do what feels right and focus on the big stuff that matters. And that's another edition of Optimal Finance Daily. Thanks for being here today and making another episode possible. And be sure to come back tomorrow for more, where your optimal life awaits.